You're very welcome to our final trader chat before Christmas with Johnny Ward and Flynn Goward, who, of course, last week imparted the news that Star Sports had an absolute blinder over the weekend. How was this weekend, Flynn? We had a couple of very interesting results in football, starting with Liverpool, who I thought were a little bit short away to Crystal Palace, duly winning 7-0.
Yeah, well, we spoke last week, Johnny, about how it was such a good week, but I did say to you many a time, I didn't want to take it for granted. It can all turn around so quickly. And this week was absolutely horrific by all accounts. It really turned around. The Christmas bonuses will be put away, I would imagine, like we were talking about last week. So there'll be none being sent your way, unfortunately, Johnny, I would imagine, after this week. On the football front, let's just start with the outrights. So in terms of the updates, so Liverpool have gone odds on. Odds on Liverpool, which you'll love to see. 20 to 21, so a slight shade of odds on. They were 7 to 4 last week, but really.
What were they peak at 5 to 2 at one stage, I think?
They did get to 5 to 2. I don't think they ever touched 11 to 4, but there's definitely a bit of 5 to 2, 9 to 4 about. Odds on now. And I think that when you look at the table now, it might be a case of how far for Liverpool. When you see you've got teams like Manchester United who are going to be challenging for second when they've got their game in hand. And you've had rumours about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer not even being at the club for much longer at stages during this season. So it's mad to think that they're even that close. But just to spin through the prices for the outright, so like I just said, Liverpool 20 to 21 from 7 to 4. City have been eased to 9 to 4 from 7 to 4, even though they won at the weekend. Chelsea have gone right out, and along with Spurs, so Chelsea are out to 10 to 1. Obviously, haven't played yet. They played tonight from 11 to 2. A lot of these market moves are due to the fact that Liverpool shortened up so much.
Because the City one's a bit strange because they get actually quite a good result. Arguably had a tougher game than Liverpool and got the job done, but they've actually lengthened. Yeah,
exactly. So it's all just about the convincing win from Liverpool at the weekend, and that's just had a real big effect on the market as a whole. Spurs have also gone out, but they've gone out to 16 to 1 from 11 to 2. Obviously getting beat quite convincingly by Leicester. I think Leicester just did a complete job on Spurs, which is why Liverpool shortened so much. And then Man United have shortened into 10 to 1 from 16 after their 6-2 win at against Leeds. And then Leicester have actually gone the other way, even though they beat Spurs at the weekend. They've gone to 33 to 1 from 25. But again, all the impact is because Liverpool performed so well at the weekend.
Yeah. It's such a crazy season because I was on the radio on Saturday and all the talk is about, Jose Mourinho, they've gotten their kind of, he's gotten the pep back in his step and all this. And I was like, well, kind of, but, they lost to Liverpool. They couldn't beat Chelsea. They didn't beat Palace. And, it's still early days. And the narrative's completely changed. Now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fielding questions about a title challenge.
Yeah, exactly. It's just completely flip-flopped with Manchester United. And I think just going back to Spurs, I think Jose sets up a lot of the time to nick points in important games, but I think you can be doing that when you're real genuine title challengers like Liverpool, for example. You can go out to try and do that, but I think to get to that stage, you've got to start winning games convincingly and rather just trying to nick points where you can. I did just want to touch on the relegation odds.
Sheffield United, you've got to feel a little bit sorry for them. It would have been a massive win at Brighton.
Unfortunately, they didn't get it. They're still favourites to go down at 6 on. West Brom and Fulham are also odds on. Those are the three teams that are odds on to go down. Arsenal are the ones that shortened up. I keep saying this every week, unfortunately, for my boys. We're now 20 to 1 to go down from 50. I don't want to talk about that too much, Johnny, because I'll just get depressed, unfortunately.
Well, you might have to talk about the fact that your manager is now odds on to be the next manager to leave.
I know he's 4 to 5 to go now. Obviously, we had
8 to 11. He's even shorter. I'm looking at it here. He's 8 to 11. Somebody must have backed him in the last 5 minutes.
There you go. So since I've done the running order, he's shortened up even more to 8 to 11 from 2 to 1. They mustn't know that I was going to be talking about it on here. Chris Wilder's 15 to 8 from 9 to 4. See, these are shortening up because Bilic was your favourite, and then he went last week. And then your 12 to 1 bar, 12 to 1 Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I do remember speaking to you a good few weeks ago, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was almost favourite, wasn't he? So a real shake-up in that market, and unfortunately Arteta is favourite to go. I was speaking to one of our football traders this morning, and he was saying that he thought that if we got beat the weekend just gone, that would potentially be Arteta's last game. So it'd be really interesting to see whether the board do give him time or not. Just to quickly touch on the match results of the weekend, it was a good week for us on the football front in terms of match results. Obviously, Spurs getting beat, we laid plenty of even money against Leicester. And then Leeds were actually quite fancied by punters against United. Obviously, a real high-scoring team and a high-scoring game. But Man United getting the job done at home was actually a good result for us there as well.
Racing obviously is closing down towards Christmas now. Ireland's last race meeting was Thurles on Sunday, but there was some cracking racing on Saturday. I guess, the performance of Paisley Park was probably the highlight, but a pretty grim weekend for Star Sports by all accounts.
Yeah, not great. Let's just start with the long walk hurdle with Paisley Park. Obviously, winning at 9-4, it was a good result for us in the book actually, and I think it was a good result for the sport. Thyme Hill was the big bogey in the book for us. For the Stayers hurdle, we now go 3-1 Paisley Park for that, and Thyme Hill's 4-1. I don't feel Thyme Hill saw it out very well. I don't think he looks like a proper Stayers hurdle horse. He has like a real good change of gear, but then I don't think he finds a huge amount. I think he is a stayer, but I don't think he's a real dour stayer.
Yeah.
When you compare him to Paisley Park, I think Aidan Cole admitted after the race that he didn't give it the best of rides, and I probably agree with him. But fair play, in that interview, he came out straight away and said he got me out of trouble there. I think he's probably quite a difficult ride, Paisley Park. I mean, when we saw him win his Stayers hurdle, Aidan came out after that race and said that he got him out of trouble there again. So I think he's just probably quite a tough ride in the fact that he hits that flat spot, trying to read when he's going to hit the flat spot and when you need to get in there because you don't want to get in there too soon as well.
How was Ascot over the 2 days?
So in general, pretty terrible to be honest with you, and that's also highlighted by Haydock. But Benny's King was a really bad result in the handicap chase, winning at 13-2. He was bet down all the way from 15-2 in the morning. That was a great ride from Harry Skelton, I think, but we didn't want to see that happening. Unfortunately, it did. In the Betfair Exchange Trophy, we laid Not So Sleepy Antipose at 20-1. So well played to the punters who were getting on at 20-1 there. And we laid Benson Huge in the race each way for us, a course of 4 places. It looked like he was a million to even get in the box halfway round. He was really tailed off, and he just stayed on really, really strongly into 4th. When
That's
he
his style.
Beat. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, if you looked at him at halfway, you would have been very surprised for him to get anywhere near. He was just miles out the back and pushed along.
How was Thurles yesterday? Because obviously it takes a bit of the spotlight as a kind of a relatively run-of-the-mill Irish meeting on Sunday. But how was business?
Business was okay at Thurles. It was more about the moves for Cheltenham, really. I mean, as Scaria 10 got favourite backers off to a flyer, he was really impressive. He's now 20-1 for the National Hunt Chase in March. And then I guess the other one, I suppose you're probably better at pronouncing this than I am, Johnny, but is it Gaulois? Is that how you say it?
I think it's French, so it's not
it's not an Irish
Gaulois is what I'm coming up with, but I don't know. But she, in fairness to her performance, I wouldn't be at all surprised if she were beaten in the Mayor's Novice, but I'd be very surprised if she weren't bang there.
Yeah, I do completely agree with you there. I spoke to the boys who look after the anti-post side yesterday and just said, let's be top price this. I thought that the horse that was chasing her home just didn't look to like the game very much, and I think that if the horse in second had any type of game or any type of willingness, probably would have got pretty close. So
keep an eye out for her because she has so much ability, that horse. If she pops up, I don't know if she's going to go for a handicap, Mighty Blue, or where she ends up, but she has loads of ability, and if she goes to Cheltenham, I'd be keeping an eye on her but again, she does have a very, very horrible head carriage.
Yeah, exactly. And I just thought that any horse with that type of ability, with the willingness, would have got pretty close to the winner. But we left the winner unchanged at 8-1 for the Mayor's Novice. So we saw quite a bit of money at 8-1. So we clipped into 7. So we're still top price 7-1, Gaulois for the Mayor's Novice at Cheltenham. So if you did want to have a look at the market, it's up and starting with top price.
And your boy Jordan Cox was all over bits of the news during the week in relation to Easy Work and Fernie Hollow, both of which turned out to be absolutely spot on, and Fernie Hollow out for the season now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how the shake-up for the Supreme, as you'd imagine, when the favourite comes out. I would imagine it'll make the decision for Gordon Elliott a lot easier in terms of the potential idea of splitting up Fernie Hollow and Ballyadam. We won't have to think about it now because Ballyadam will just go for the Supreme, and he's 5-1 favourite for the race. So a bit of a shake-up there. We haven't laid a huge amount of Fernie Hollow. We'd laid bits and pieces. So we never want to cheer a horse being out for the season or anything like that, or being out until Punchestown, as supposed it is. But it's not a terrible result for us.
I got to also mention, of course, the BBC Sports Personality of the Year award. Holly Doyle rather admirably saying that she lifted her third place prize for racing. And I actually think this didn't do a bad service at all to racing. Holly, mainly the fact that she's female and she's competing at the top level against the males with no advantage whatsoever. And I think she's just a good ambassador for the sport. But a good result for racing, I think.
Yeah, completely agree with you there. I mean, when you look at their achievements, when you look at the racing type of people that have been in sports personality, you've obviously got Frankie Dettori, AP McCoy, and now Holly Doyle. When you weigh up the achievements, obviously Frankie Dettori and AP McCoy completely out-trump Holly Doyle. But the fact that not just the fact that she's a female, but she's competing on level terms and still winning Group 1s, etc. And it looks like that her career's just starting and will really take off. So completely fair play to her getting the 3rd place there.
Did you lay her?
We did. We laid Holly Doyle all the way down from 25 to 1. So 25 to 1 was the biggest price that we laid her at. She was in the market 50s, but we managed to avoid some of the moves. So we laid her at 25s, and then we laid quite a big sum at 7 to 2, which was yesterday. We were top price Holly Doyle from the day before yesterday. So from Saturday all the way up to last night. So 7 to 2 was the shortest that we laid Holly Doyle at, and we actually laid a bit of that 7 to 2 yesterday. So it wasn't a bad result for us. Lewis Hamilton going in and getting the job done, so to say. And Holly Doyle coming 3rd was a good result for us, but a even better result for racing, I think.
Did you lay Jordan Henderson?
Well, we didn't lay John Henson, although there was a late move for him on the machine, wasn't there? I mean, I think almost everyone went favouring the market on the machine yesterday. So it's quite a funny market to get involved in, but it turned out to be all right for us.
How was the boxing?
Boxing, we had Canelo versus Callum Smith. Obviously, Callum Smith going over was actually being challenged for his title by Canelo. Canelo, probably the pound-for-pound best in the world, and he was really, really impressive, Canelo. He was around 2 to 9 before the fight. He was the only one that we could lay out of the 2. We couldn't lay the home fighter for us. And that sets up a fight with either Triple G or Billy Joe Saunders at some point next year. That'll probably be Canelo's 2021 over and done with after he fights them 2. But they'll both be good fights. But it was a poor result for us in the boxing. And to be honest, Johnny, it was bad all in all last week. Other than the footy where we managed to perform okay, we lost at Ascot. We lost big at Haydock as well, and then Furnace was meh for us really. So a tough week and then one to forget for us really.
God, you sound like you're hungover, but we can only speculate on that. Give us a winner for Christmas then.
Well, personally, I think Clanzovo will go very well in the King George. He's vying for favouritism with Surname at the moment. He would be the big loser in the book for us. Obviously, he's won the race a couple of times. We've laid him at 5 to 1, all the way down to 5 to 2. He's now like a 9 to 4, 2 to 1 poke. So he will be a favourite there. And then we've obviously got the good novice races over Christmas. And then we've got Altior versus Put the Kettle On, which would be a good race in the Desert Orchid as well.
Yeah, I might give Blackbow in the Racing Post Novice Chase. That's on the 26th. It looks like that market's going to be kind of dominated by Enter Jumin, who was absolutely sensational at Gore, and also Felix Deji, who I didn't think was in any way sensational at Punchestown. I think Blackbow's jumping at Navan was absolutely spectacular. I think he's going to maybe belatedly live up to his promise. But thanks a million for that, Flynn.
No problem, thank you.
And actually, last one for you. How long does Arteta stay in the job? Will he get to 2021?
Yes, he will. In my opinion, he will. I wouldn't mind taking 5 to 4 the other side of the 4 to 5 or 11 to 8 the other side of the 8 to 11, him staying or not being the next manager to go. I think that he probably will be given time. But then if we go and get beat in our next 2 or 3 games, I mean, it might get to the point where he has to go. But until it gets to that point, I don't think he will.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at Wilder in the sense that there's so much money at stake here that Sheffield United will probably have to face a decision at some point or other.
Yeah, and I also heard some Sheffield United fans in the week on the radio actually saying that they'd rather go down and him still be manager,
right,
which I think is quite interesting. Because if they've got that type of backing, then will they get rid of him or will they just stay with him? So I think Arteta might be the next one to go, but I don't think it will be immediate anyway.
Thanks a million, Flynn.
Cheers, Johnny.
Thank you for watching, and we shall talk to you after Christmas.